Alright folks, we're doing this is a special Pirate101 video. I'm going to be going over all of my builds for the summer test realm that is coming up. Now, I will say I do not have membership, and I will not be getting membership, so unfortunately I will not be able to play the test realm.
If you're a broke boy, just say so!
But I'm hoping this video might help someone who does have membership prepare their build for the summer test realm content. This is the first time that I'm recording, editing, and then uploading a video on the same day. This will be definitely new for me, so there probably won't be that much pizzazz, even though, I mean, my videos are pretty simple editing-wise regardless. But yeah, so this is the post that I saw on the Reddit yesterday, and I was like, oh, I gotta put this together. So, with that being said, let's start with... really quickly, if you want to see these builds more in depth, I would recommend checking out my specific build videos that I did for each class. This will be mostly going over pretty simply what I'm going to be rocking for the new content when I get around to it. So yeah, and maybe a couple pieces that are like alternates. So let's go over it. For the hat, I am running the Hekate's Underworld hat for a rank of Readied spell, and then also the stats. For the robe, I am running the Captain Blood's Obsidian jacket, because even after the nerf, it's still pretty good. For the boots, I am running Hekate's Underworld boots for the rank of Eagle Eyes, and then also the stats. If you had Tide boots, you could run Tide boots, or I would also consider running the Underworld Warlord boots for the AoE heal if you're going to be soloing. For the weapon, I kind of swap between Weapons of the Waster and the Magic Wand. Shooty Staffy is just good for chains and hybrid builds, but the Magic Wand does have 6 range, which I believe 6 range is only with staffy weapons. I could be wrong about that though, but it's just the only one that I have. For eye patch, I am running Sinbad's Daring Stripes for the Maelstrom. It's a very good utility for solo questing. For the totem, I'm running Sinbad's Silver Trinket. Sinbad's Gold Trinket is also fine. You mostly just want the Readied spell, and you don't really care about the other spell that it gives. That's why I'm running silver. For the charm, I am running Cerberus Collar for the rank of Double Tap and Mojo Rising, which is why I am running the Shooty Staffy. If I was running pure Staffy, I'd probably rock something else, like Obsidian Brass for the stats, or Mojo Mastery. For the ring, I am rocking the Brain Thief loop. This gives an extra Mojo Storm, which does a lot of damage. Otherwise, I might use something like Valor or Mojo Mastery with this Sniper Shot. And then my pet, I'm still working on, but ideally, I'd want something like Readied Spell, Witch Hunter, Burst Fire, stuff like that. And then also, the heal is really good on this one. Companions-wise, I'm going to be running a classic lineup of Scratch, Gracie, and Mormo. And yes, this is a completely free-to-play friendly Ready Spell 5 build. If you remember the Ready 5 builds of yesteryear that ran the Conqueror's outfit that was from a bundle, that is no longer the case with the Hekate's hat and the Sinbad Silver Trinket. You can get the 5 ranks through a pet, the trinket, the hat, and then 2 ranks from, I believe, the Secret Trainer. But with that being said, let's move on to... So my Swash build has changed since my video build on it, but only by 1 piece. So it's still pretty much the same thing. For the hat, I am running the Salty Duelist Tricone for the second Black Fog. Otherwise, I'd probably just be running Hermes hat for the Tide and stats. For the robe, I am rocking the Bellatrix Underworld Garb. This is the new piece that I'm rocking. Before, I was running the Hermes Underworld Garb for the stats. But the Bellatrix is just superior in every way. It gives the same exact stats, but 2 good powers, or 2 good epics instead of 1 mid power and then bonus will, which you don't really need. For the boots, I'm rocking Lord of Trash boots. If you're a melee character, you should probably always be rocking Lord of Trash boots. Unless you're like Privateer, you could probably want to rock something else. For the weapon, I am rocking the Burn Swashbuckler set. Pretty much any shooty slashy or shooty stabby works here. You mostly just want the access to the hybrid weapons because you have a lot more chain potential. Before the Swashbuckler set, I was running the Mustang Guitar and Pepperbox, which came from a pack. And if you want a pure stabby choice, I would recommend Sokar's Dagger for the Elusive and the Super Strike. For the eye patch, I am running Sinbad's Dashing Stripes. It gives a Vicious Charge, which is really good for going across a map and then doing a debuff, and also gives a lot of dodge. Otherwise, I'd recommend a stat eye patch like Patch of St. Fido. For the totem, I'm using the Prince of Ilios Quiver, and that is because my pet does not give Burst Fire. Charm, I am rocking the Cerberus Collar. It gives a rank of Double Tap and Follow Through, so I get Double Tap 2 and then Follow Through 1 with this build, which just increases my chain potential. Or you can also run the Obsidian Brass Medallion for a bunch of stats. For the ring, I'm actually running a Crit Mastery Sniper Shot. I wouldn't recommend this if you're like a casual player. This is like a super niche thing for myself that I really like. I would recommend either Spooky Mastery and Sniper Shot weapon mastery and sniper shot, bonus agility and sniper shot. But if you get the crit mastery one first, after like some farming, which is what happened to me, you'll be fine off with it. And as for my pet, I am rocking Relent, Blade, Tap, and Tide. I think this pet's pretty much perfect for me. I think swapping the Tide for Burst Fire would be good, or like a Quick Shot would be good, but the Tide is fine. It gives me, I believe, Tide 2. For my companions, I'm going to be rocking Fan, El Toro, and Contessa. You could also be rocking the new Sarah Steele with her new power set, but I haven't really tried it out that much, so I'm going to stick with my typical build. They might have changed Swashbuckler companions in the test room. I'm not sure. We haven't seen it yet. But if there's some better Swashbuckler companions, you could probably swap Contessa for them. But I think Fan and Toro are definitely going to be solid picks for your team. If you're soloing, Nurse Quinn might also be a pretty good selection because she does have a lot of heals and a triage, which is kind of nice. Now let's move on to For Buccaneer, I am running the Ares Underworld hat because it gives a rank of Vengeance Strike and then also some pretty good stats. And for the robe, I am rocking the Temple Guardian garb. It gives the same exact stats as the Ares Underworld garb, but it gives a Vengeance Strike and some base armor, which I think is just purely better than the Wrath of Ares and the base Will. For the boots, obviously the Lord of Trash boots, I think this is a non-starter. You kind of need this. Otherwise, you could rock the Ares Underworld boots for the jump and the stats. Or if you need more resistance, I would recommend the Triton's Chorus boots. Either the Sewer King's boots or the ones that come from Kane, if you have those. For the weapon, I'm personally running a shooty slashy set, so I'm rocking the Kraken's Breath set. If you're going to be running a pure Buccaneer build, I would recommend the Axe of the Minotaur Slayer. Or if you're doing a smashy slashy like the Axe of the Minotaur Slayer but you don't have it, I'd recommend the Anchor Tanker because it gives a lot of base damage, more so than the Axe, and it also gives in a Spirit, which is really good. Yeah, the thing is, Buccaneer has a lot of weapon choices that are pretty good. Like, even the Demigod's Beaters with the Vengeance and Repost is still pretty damn good. Because it gives a really high weapon power, even higher than the Anchor Tanker. So I may be swapping in and out of my weapons every so often. For the eye patch, I am rocking the Sinbad's Bold Stripes. Otherwise, I'd probably be rocking just the Smuggler's Visor with the Weapon Mastery. For the totem, I am rocking Amit's Devouring Totem. And this is purely because I'm also rocking the Sinbad's eye patch for the second chance. So this gives me second chance too. Otherwise, I'd probably maybe be rocking the Legionnaire's Obol for the Stygian course because it just summons a bunch of minions that can soak a bunch of damage, or just any other totem that gives some stats or some good cards. For the charms, I am running the Cerberus Collar, and this is for the follow-through mostly. Otherwise, I'd probably be rocking the Obsidian Brass Medallion, specifically the strength-focused one. Or if you want to be more fun, you could run the Guardian Scarab's Carapace, because it gives Tide, Elusive, and a rank of Merciless, which could be pretty interesting. But I will say, if you are going to be running the Axe of the Minotaur Slayer for the rank of follow-through, you should definitely be running the Cerberus Collar, because it will give you follow-through 2, which is 3 guaranteed hits, which is not like Relentless. Relentless is a chance at a hit. Follow-through is a guaranteed hit. For the ring, I am running a pretty defensive ring. I have the Sinbad's Gold Ring for a rank of Valor and Hold the Line. And then for my pet, I am rocking... This pet is actually a fail. But I'm mostly just looking for Relent, Burst, and Blade. And that's because I'm running a hybrid build. I'm still trying to work on finding a better pet, but as you can see, it's not going that well. I have this one, which gives Relent, Blade, and Vengeance, and Death Throws, which is pretty interesting. So if I were to run an Axe of the Minotaur Slayer build, I'd probably rock this pet, or this pet. I could rock this pet on this character right now, because it gives Burst, Relent, and Double Tide. But then I'd be missing out on the Blade 5, which is really important for damage potential. As for my companion setup, this is definitely my less free-to-play friendly build. And that's because I'm running Peter, Yul, and Temujin. But you could definitely get the same success without this. You could run Temujin and Ratbeard and the new Hawkules. You could run Peter, Ratbeard, and Gaspard. You could run Peter, Toro, Ratbeard. You could run Peter, Kobe, Contessa. There's a lot of different good compositions for Buccaneer, but definitely you want to stick with Peter. And if you were going to spend crowns, I would recommend probably the Yultrog because it also gives a buff. And Temujin was just a nice bonus for me to get. But who knows, they might have updated some of the Buccaneer companions. I also forgot about Barnabas completely. Barnabas is also a pretty good sub for a defensive maneuver companion. Now with that, let's move on to the fourth build. Now, if you saw my recent video where I did the 2025 Pirate101 experience, where I did the new content on my Musketeer, you will have already seen this build. It's the exact same as from the video, but we'll quickly go through it. Hat, I am running the Centauranus hat. For the robe, I am running the Bellatrix Underworld garb, because it gives a rank of True Grit and some good stats. Otherwise, you could run the Artemis Underworld garb, because it does give some bonus spell power. For the boots, I am rocking Artemis Underworld boots. This is a non-starter, it gives a rank of Overwatch. For the weapon, I am running Sinbad's Mojo shooters. Otherwise, if I didn't have a rank of Overwatch, I'd be running the Darkmoor Death Spitter. And if I was going to go pure staffy for some reason, I'd run Magic Wand. For the eye patch, I'm actually running the Master Smuggler's Cowl. Otherwise, I'd be running the Sinbad's Gallant Stripes for the weapon power and a sniper shot. For the totem, I am rocking the Jewel of Mu Manchu. It gives a ton of accuracy and a rank of Cannonballs. Otherwise, I would recommend the Sinbad Silver or Gold Trinket for the rank of Readied Spell. For my charm and ring, I am rocking the Bresciani set, which give a rank of Quick Adjust and True Grit and a ton of accuracy. So this is mainly an anti-Musketeer build. It gives True Grit 3, so to stun ranged attackers, and it also has Overwatch 5. And then for my pet, I am rocking Overwatch, Witch Hunter, Burst, and Elusive, which is pretty ideal for what I want to do with this build. As for my companions, I'm going to be rocking a very simple setup of Old Scratch, Gracie, and Chantel. This is a pretty standard setup for Musketeers. They're just very strong, so I don't think you really have to worry if you're a Musketeer player. And let's move on to the last build for this video. Lastly, we have Chernobyl, my privateer, who I'm still working on my pet for. I have not gotten a good pet even since my build video where I was still working on getting a good pet. For the hat, I am rocking the Dutchman's hat. It gives a Tempest torpedo card, which does knock enemies around when they hit it, which is just really good for slowing down the enemy, especially if you don't have Tide Boots. For the robe, I am running a little bit of a fun card. I'm running the Imperial Robes of Mu Manchu. This is definitely not recommended. You could just run something simple like the Zeus Underworld garb, but like I have it and it's fun, so I'm gonna rock it. And especially with the Mojo Mastery stuff that increases your summons level, it can be pretty fun when you just summon 9 big dudes that will just do a bunch of damage and distract the enemy. For the boots, I'm rocking the Zeus Underworld boots for the rank of Witch Hunter. Otherwise, I'd probably be rocking Tide, but I also have this AoE heal boots as well. For my weapon, I am rocking the Captain Blood's Obsidian Hook. I think there's one other weapon that gives repost and repel borders. I think it's from it's from Tartarus. I think the first boss drops it, but I don't have it obviously. Otherwise, I might be using the Sinbad Mojo stick because it gives melee invulnerability. So if there's a hard melee boss or melee fight, this could be a pretty good weapon to use. For my eye patch, I am running the Sinbad Heroic Stripes for the AoE Absorb, which is just really, really good. Otherwise, I'd recommend Mojo Mastery if you don't have this item. For the totem, I'm running Manticore Sting, and this is purely so that I can get Repel 5. If you don't really care about Repel 5 or you're doing a staffy build, you could run the Amit's Insatiable Totem because it gives a pretty good summon. For the charm, I'm running just simple Mu Manchu Right-Hand Strand. It gives a rank of Revive and Big Guns, which is just pretty good overall defensive and offensive capabilities. Otherwise, I would be using my favorite item in the game, which gives First Mate's Boon, but I believe First Mate's Boon will still be nerfed in the test realm, so Right-Hand Strand's probably going to be a better bet than something with First Mate's Boon. For the ring, I am rocking a simple Mojo Mastery ring. Preferably, I'd want the one with Ruse and Mojo Mastery. If I need to do some offense for some reason, it will allow me to cross 2 times my travel potential, so that's alright. Otherwise, I'd probably just rock something simple with Big Guns and Valors, or if they buff First Mate's Boon, I could also rock the Capitano ring. For the pet, this is about as close as I could get, and you might notice if you watched my privateer build guide, this is the same exact pet. So it's been a few months and I haven't gotten anywhere closer to a good pet. I had one good one. This one, it had Repel, Blade, and Second Chance, but it failed at 70 with accuracy. All it needed was Relentless and it would have been perfect, but you know, it happens. So this pet gives Blade, Repel, and Double Tide. You mostly just need the rank of Repel because that will give you Repel 5, which is kind of the important part. So at least I have that going for me. I do have this pet in the works. It has Relent, Blade, and Dodgy. If it gets Repel at 70, then it's pretty much perfect for what I need. I mostly just need Relent, Blade, and Repel. Dodgy is fine because I have Repost, so like it could do something. But all these other ones are pretty much just garbage trash. And as for my companion setup, I'm going to be running Old Scratch, Gracie, and Emmett most of the time. This is just the most utility heavy I could make it, because Emmett has the Maelstroms, which will slow down the enemies quite a bit to allow me to buff up with Old Scratch. And the Gracie has good defensive and offensive potential as well. If for some reason I'm finding myself in need of some classic melee high damage potential, I'd probably recommend the fully upgraded Egg Shen, or if you have promoted Hawkules as well. El Toro could be good, but I don't think the S-Spirit is that good on Privateer because you already have Zeal and your own S-Spirit. Especially if you're rocking if instead of the inflated hat, you're running something like the salty hat that gives a second Zeal, you probably don't need the extra S-Spirit, and you'd much rather just use that slot on something a little bit better. But yeah, those are all of my builds going into the Summer Test Realm with the level cap increase, the companion epic increase. I believe at 75, all companions will get an additional epic, which could shake up the companion meta. I don't think it's going to change it up that much, to be honest. I think companions that are already good are just going to get better, and companions that are mid might get usable. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys learned something from this. If you need more specifics on some of the gear, why I'm using it, where to get it, I would recommend checking out the video that was specific for each of these builds. I'll probably link them in the description. They've kind of been appearing on screen as we've been going through here. But now I got to edit this, and then I got to upload it. So I guess, yeah, I will see you next time.